A year prior, Gi-hun took part in a competition called the Squid Games, where indebted individuals played for an enormous cash prize. Gi-hun emerged as the victor, receiving the grand prize, but all the other contestants perished. Now, Gi-hun is at the airport, intending to depart for the USA to reunite with his daughter. However, after witnessing another desperate individual being invited to the game, Gi-hun decides to stay and hunt down the masterminds behind the games to dismantle them. He gets a call from the front man, the person overseeing the games, warning him he'll regret his decision, but Gi-hun dismisses the warning. On his way back to Seoul, he stops by a store to buy a knife. In the bathroom, he discovers and removes a tracker implanted behind his ear. Simultaneously, Detective Jun-ho awakens, unsure of his location. A year ago, he infiltrated the games to search for his brother In-ho, who turned out to be the front man. In-ho shot Jun-ho and let him fall off a cliff, assuming he was dead. However, he was rescued by a ship and taken to a hospital, where he is now waking up from a coma. 2 years later, Jun-ho works as a traffic officer. Having lost his phone containing all proof of the games in the ocean, he almost got fired for his unexplained absence but was saved by his boss's good word, resulting only in a demotion. During his free time, he meets with Captain Park, the man who found his body. Together, they search every island in the area to locate the games again. Meanwhile, Gi-hun is hiding out in a motel, where he's set up numerous security cameras. One night, he imagines the front man at the door with 2 human heads, but it's just a nightmare. Later, he meets with loan shark Mr. Kim and his assistant Woo Seok, whom he hired to find the man recruiting new players. Though their search has been fruitless so far, Gi-hun pays them extra to hire more people and even offers a significant reward for whoever catches the recruiter. Kim and Woo Seok launch an operation, hiring numerous gangsters. They share all their clues and scour every subway station, checking every man who fits the description. Despite their efforts, there's no progress, and Woo Seok begins doubting the story. One night, during a break, they finally spot the recruiter playing a slapping game and handing an invitation to Myung-gi. As the recruiter leaves the station, Kim and Woo Seok follow him while alerting Gi-hun. Concurrently, Myung-gi receives a call from his pregnant ex-girlfriend Jun-hee, which he ignores. Jun-hee, at the clinic, cancels her appointment after also receiving an invitation to the games. Moments later, the recruiter approaches tramps at a park, making them choose between a bread roll or a scratch card. Only one person picks the bread, while the rest choose cards, none of which have prizes. The recruiter then stomps on the leftover bread, blaming the tramps for wasting food. Kim and Woo Seok record everything and send it to Gi-hun. Downtown, Gi-hun speeds through traffic and gets pulled over by the police. After taking his information and issuing a ticket, the rookie officer lets him go. Jun-ho, seeing Gi-hun's name, recognizes it from the games and searches the system for his details, obtaining an address from a car rental company. At the park, the recruiter leaves, prompting Kim and Woo Seok to follow him into an alley. The recruiter easily overpowers them. Gi-hun arrives shortly after, finding blood and a knife but no men. The recruiter has taken Kim and Woo Seok to a fancy room and tied them up, forcing them to play rock, paper, scissors, with the loser playing Russian roulette. Initially, the odds are low with only 1 bullet, but as the recruiter adds more bullets each turn, Mr. Kim eventually gets shot. Terrified, Woo Seok agrees to talk. That evening, Jun-ho breaks into Kim's office, discovering paperwork with a motel address. At the motel, Gi-hun returns to find the recruiter waiting. The recruiter shares his backstory of starting as a grunt in the games, tasked with removing bodies or shooting misbehaving players. One day, he had to deal with a player who was his father, yet he didn't hesitate to kill him. The recruiter then proposes a game of Russian roulette, and after several rounds, the bullet hits him, causing instant death. Gi-hun finds a black envelope in his pocket. Just then, Jun-ho arrives and finds Woo Seok in another room. Freeing him, Jun-ho continues searching and confronts Gi-hun, but Woo Seok knocks Jun-ho out with a fire extinguisher. Gi-hun checks the card from the envelope, which mentions Club HDH on October 31st at midnight. When Jun-ho wakes, he and Gi-hun agree to work together to end the games, with Woo Seok wanting revenge for Kim. Gi-hun shows them the money he won and the weapons he's gathered. There's a concealed back room for practicing shooting. At an amusement park's parking lot, No-il sleeps in her car. A cop warns her she can't continue this. The next day, she starts her shift as a park mascot, so kind to the children that one gifts her a drawing. After work, she takes her earnings to a broker, hoping he can rescue her daughter from North Korea. He has searched but found nothing and can't help further. That night, a new recruiter invites No-il to the games. The next day, she quits her job, calls the number to join the games, then burns the card and the drawing the child gave her. As part of his plan, Gi-hun gets a tooth removed and replaces it with a fake one containing a tracker. He also recruits a gang of thugs who train with his weapons in the secret room. Later, Gi-hun calls his daughter but can't muster the courage to speak. He only listens to her voice before hanging up. Finally, the day arrives and the club is bustling with Halloween revelers. Gi-hun and Woo-seok comb through the club while Jun-ho stands guard outside. He spots 2 people in game guard uniforms and follows them into the club, intimidating the bouncer to gain entry. Sadly, he's too late. One guard tases Woo-seok into unconsciousness, while the other forces Gi-hun to leave. Jun-ho finds Woo-seok asleep and sees on the tracker that Gi-hun is leaving, so he alerts the thugs. Gi-hun is taken to a limo, with the thugs trailing in their cars. The frontman's voice emanates from a speaker, refusing to halt the game despite Gi-hun's pleas, explaining that the game will persist as long as the system continues to ruin lives. As they reach a deserted street, snipers on rooftops discreetly shoot out the tires of the thugs' cars. Gi-hun notices this and fires inside the limo, but the bulletproof glass thwarts his efforts. Committed to the plan, Gi-hun volunteers to rejoin the games, and soon, sleeping gas knocks him out. At the docks, 3 trucks gather more participants, including No-eul, who is selected as a guard rather than a player. The next morning, Jun-ho and Woo-seok board Park's ship with the thugs, tracking Gi-hun's signal. On the island, Gi-hun awakens in the Squid Game facility among the new players. He dons the game uniform and is numbered 456, just like before. The guards explain the rules. The players will stay for 6 days, and winners of all 6 games receive a substantial cash prize. Seong Gi-hun interrupts to ask about his phone, prompting a video reveal of his past as a YouTuber who led people into a cryptocurrency scam, now a wanted man for fraud. The video also highlights the significant debts of the vocal complainers. A massive piggy bank then descends from the ceiling, set to accumulate money throughout the games until it reaches 45 billion. After each game, players can vote to continue or not. If the majority votes to stop, everyone can leave with their accumulated money. The guards are again interrupted when Young-sik discovers his elderly mother, Gyamja, is also a player. The games, however, are indifferent to age. The next step is signing consent forms. After Seong Gi-hun signs, he's confronted by Namju and rapper Thanos, who lost money in the crypto scam. Seong Gi-hun shows no remorse, leading Thanos to become aggressive, and Namju has to intervene. When it's Gi-hun's turn to sign, he reads the rules. Players cannot quit, and those who don't play will be eliminated. The only way to stop is during the voting ceremony. Players then get their pictures taken before heading to the first game. Gi-hun is shocked to find his old friend Jung-bae among the players and tells him to stay close. Meanwhile, Jun-ho and his men track the signal to the island and send out a drone to locate the facility. The island appears empty, save for a fisherman, who they quickly surround and find the tracker among his tools, indicating the game organizers removed it from Gi-hun's mouth when he was gassed. The players are soon taken to a yard with a giant doll. Gi-hun, worried because his friends don't show, removes his dental implant and realizes the tracker is gone. The first game is red light, green light. Players must reach the yard's end in 5 minutes, moving only on green light and freezing on red light. Those who move during red light will be eliminated. Gi-hun tries to warn everyone that eliminated means killed, but they don't believe him. The game starts with In-ho, the front man, watching. Determined to save everyone, Gi-hun shouts instructions, guiding the group forward. Chaos ensues when Thanos tells a woman there's a bee on her neck. She panics and is shot for moving. The bee's flight scares another, leading to more panic and attempts to flee, resulting in No-eul shooting down runners. Gi-hun keeps shouting for people to stay still, but dozens are lost. Finally convinced, Gi-hun explains the doll detects movement with sensors, suggesting they hide behind larger players. Thanos seizes this chance to sneak some candy he had hidden. Following Gi-hun's lead, the group progresses well, though No-eul kills a trembling woman and Thanos purposefully pushes 3 players to their deaths. After several turns and numerous deaths, half the group crosses the line. Gi-hun tries to help a wounded player across, but No-eul breaks the rules, killing the man after he crosses. Back in the common room, the players are told 91 were killed, leaving 365. Pleas for mercy arise, prompting Gi-hun to remind them they can vote to end the game. The guards add the accumulated money to the piggy bank, which isn't much divided among the players. The voting begins with players pressing a button to cast their vote. As many choose to stay, Gi-hun warns about the next games, leading to an argument where he reluctantly admits he's been through this before. Thanos views Gi-hun's experience as a survival advantage. The guards halt the argument and insist everyone votes. The vote ties, leaving player 001 to decide. This man votes to continue, revealing himself as In-ho, secretly participating. During dinner, players ask Gi-hun for tips on the next game. He tells them it's Dalgona, where they must carve out a candy shape without breaking it. Some players desire to keep the information to themselves for an advantage, but Gi-hun commits to assisting everyone equally. In-ho continuously questions Gi-hun on why he returned, struggling to grasp the notion of altruism. Meanwhile, Gyamja shares her food with Jun-hee, sensing her pregnancy. Thanos and Namju persist in annoying Seong Gi-hun until he loses his temper and starts a fight, prompting In-ho to intervene. When Thanos and Namju redirect their aggression towards him, In-ho demonstrates his prowess and easily overcomes them both, earning the respect of everyone. In the dead of night, In-ho reveals to Gi-hun that his pregnant wife is gravely ill, and he needs money for her treatment, garnering Gi-hun's sympathy. In the facility labs, guards face difficulties harvesting organs from the deceased players, as many are deemed unsalvageable due to being shot a second time, which isn't standard procedure. They realize No Eel is responsible, leading her to be summoned by the officer, who oversees operations while In-ho participates in the game. The officer, who met No Eel 7 years prior when she was a rebel in North Korea, recruited her for the games in exchange for finding her child. He berates her for violating the rules, but she remains indifferent and walks away. In Seoul, Jun-ho seeks assistance from the police, who refuse to act without evidence. He instructs Woo-suk and the thugs to continue searching the islands, though Park warns they must wait to sail again due to bad weather. The following day, Thanos continues to secretly consume his happy candy. Jun-hee informs Seong Gi-hun that she's keeping the baby, contrary to their agreement. Their argument is cut short by the announcement of the second game, which is not the anticipated Dalgona. The group is escorted to the yard and instructed to form teams of 5. Distrusted by most, Gi-hun ends up with In-ho, Jong-bae, Dae-ho, and Jun-hee. The game is 6-legged pentathlon, where teams have their legs tied together and must complete mini-games at every 10-meter mark, advancing if successful. Each team has 5 games and 5 minutes to complete them all. Teams allocate players to each mini-game, and the guards bind their ankles. As the first 2 teams commence, the others observe to devise strategies. Dae-ho practices with stones, witnessing others' struggles. Teams that fail may retry, but time loss increases their fear and mistakes. Namju asks Thanos for his happy candy instead of paying attention. After the first round, neither team finishes, leading to all 10 players being shot on the spot. More guards arrive to collect the bodies, with No Eel ensuring they are shot again. Gyamjae's team is next, with Young-mi initially failing the first game but succeeding after Hyunju calms her. Young-sik misses his first rock throw but succeeds on the second. Gyamja makes a minor mistake with the pieces but recovers, supported by her son. The 5th member gets too nervous seeing the blood but manages with Hyunju's coercion. Hyunju effortlessly completes the final task, securing their victory. Teams continue playing with mixed results, some succeeding like Thanos' group, while others fail and are killed, leaving blood everywhere. The final round sees randoms against Gi-hun's team. Jun-hee and Jung-bae succeed on their first tries and Dae-ho follows without error. In-ho initially fails the spinning top but succeeds with Gi-hun's support. Ji-hun almost misses the final task but finishes with In-ho's help. The other team fails and is killed. Back in the room, Hyunju shares her need for money for her transition surgery. Ji-hun's survival is unwelcome. His team introduces themselves, with In-ho using a fake name. Meanwhile, No Eel is punished by guards for ruining the bodies. They cut her cheek, warning her against further rule breaking. Guards later add money to the piggy bank, announcing 110 players died, leaving 255 remaining. The players vote on continuing, with Gi-hun's team and In-ho opting to stop. Young-sik ignores his mother's concern and votes to continue. The vote appears tied until In-ho's speech convinces many to stop, though an old man argues it's not enough money given their massive debts. An argument sparks again, leading the guy to chant one more game, quickly rallying the support of many. Ultimately, staying in the game triumphs. Later during dinner, Young-sik confides in his mother that his debt is greater than she realizes, yet Gyamja remains disappointed in him. Ji-hun's team is displeased with Jung-bae for voting to stay, but they keep him nonetheless, and they provide Jun-hee extra food for the baby. In the bathroom, Thanos' team harasses Seong Gi-hun for choosing to leave, but when a fight is about to erupt, In-ho intervenes, causing Thanos to flee in fear. Tension fills the room, and Gi-hun instructs his team to sleep under the beds and keep watch for potential attacks. In the middle of the night, Gyamja needs the bathroom and reassures her son, revealing a knife hidden in her hair. Though guards initially refuse her entry or exit, she pleads until they allow her to go. The next morning, Jun-ho splits his team into 2 to search the nearby islands. At the facility, the players are taken to a carousel-like room for the third game, Mingle. Players must step on the rotating platform and form groups of the announced number within 30 seconds, entering rooms promptly. As the platform spins, a children's song plays. Panic ensues with the announcement of the number 10, and players rush to grab the nearest person and head to the doors. Those left behind are killed immediately. After the bodies are removed, the platform spins again, and the next number is 4. Panic strikes once more, forcing previously formed groups of 5 to split. Most players find partners in time, but one group only gathers 3. The guards shoot those left on the platform, including the team with the wrong number. No eel follows protocol correctly this time. The next number, 3, causes further chaos and offense among players, as past splits create tension. Young-sik is dragged away, leaving Gi-hun with In-ho and Gi-hun. In-ho subtly manipulates Gi-hun, planting doubts about her son's loyalty, though she defends him. After the losers are killed, Gi-hun reunites with her crying son, embracing him tightly. The next number is 6. Teams form quickly, but as they rush to the doors, Young Mai is pushed out and left behind, devastating Hyunju and Gi-hun. Hyunju angrily blames Myong-ji, who defends his actions, stating their group was full. The final round's number is 2. In-ho forces his way into a room with Young-bae, killing a third person to match the required number. The game ends with only 100 players remaining. Meanwhile, Jun-ho uses a drone to scout the islands, discovering a hidden door. When the group investigates, a bomb explodes, injuring many but killing one thug. Despite this, the group persists, with Jun-ho setting new rules to prevent information leaks, suspecting a mole. Back in the players' room, Myung-gi proposes to Jun-hee they stay together after the games, but his focus on money makes her decline. Jung-bae counts the stickers and sees more players favor staying, prompting Gi-hun to convince them otherwise. In-ho warns that further persuasion could incite more anger. The guards arrive for another vote, with many players, including Hyunju and Young-sik, changing their minds. The vote results in a perfect tie, leading the guards to schedule a re-vote for the next day. During dinner, groups form according to their stickers, and both sides attempt to sway each other. Gi-hun notices a fork in his food package, unnecessary for tonight's dish. Later, Thanos and Nam-ju confront Min-soo in the bathroom to alter his vote. Myung-gi intervenes, summoning his voting group to defend Min-soo, sparking a fight with Thanos' backup. Thanos taunts Myung-gi by insulting Jun-hee, provoking a brawl. Amid the chaos, Min-soo escapes, but Thanos violently attacks Myung-gi, who retaliates by stabbing Thanos with a fork. Myung-gi then hides in a stall after kicking Thanos off. While the fork remains lodged in Thanos' neck, other players seize it to inflict more deaths. The ensuing brawl shatters a mirror, yielding shards that become makeshift weapons. Despite 2 guards overhearing the chaos, they remain passive. Announcements soon declare 5 deaths in the main room, with added money in the piggy bank. Returning from the bathroom, men argue, each accusing the other team of inciting the fight. Amid their argument, they tally the stickers, discovering the team wishing to leave now has more members. The tension dissipates as guards order everyone to bed. On the ship, Park is caught tampering with a drone by a thug, whom he swiftly stabs and tosses into the sea. When another man investigates the noise, Park claims it was just a wave hitting boxes. Meanwhile, guards in the facility are prepped for a special game. Gi-hun predicts a nighttime assault by the opposing team, while In-ho suggests a preemptive strike, but Gi-hun counters, advocating unity against their captors instead. His plan involves waiting for the fight to start and ambushing guards to seize their guns. Nam-ju, having stolen Thanos' necklace, indulges in too many happy candies and reveals he has the fork. Jun-hee advises Myung-gi to hide during the fight. As darkness falls, Gi-hun and his allies conceal themselves under beds. Chaos ensues as the other team attacks, with casualties on both sides. Despite his reluctance, Gi-hun refrains from intervening, deeming the sacrifice necessary to prevent further deaths. Min-soo attempts to kill Nam-ju with glass shards, but Nam-ju retaliates, causing more fatalities. Guards eventually intervene, restoring light and stopping the fight. Gi-hun's team feigns death and ambushes the guards to steal their guns. The players unleash a volley of bullets, decimating half the guards while the rest take cover. As players secure more weapons, the officer orders the remaining guards to retreat, locking the door behind them. One guard is inadvertently left behind and taken hostage. One armed player aims to execute all the nighttime attackers, but Gi-hun stops him. Hyunju disables security cameras while Gi-hun and Jung-bae rally volunteers to overthrow the higher-ups. Although few join, they persist, arming themselves and learning advanced weaponry from Hyunju, a former Special Forces sergeant. The hostage leads them to the admin office, but they're ambushed on the colorful stairs, triggering a shootout. The team quickly dispatches the guards and presses on, scavenging bullets. Upon reaching the admin door, more guards ambush them, killing the hostage. Gi-hun and Jung-bae split from the team to find the boss, while others provide cover. Gi-hun's mask trick opens a hidden corridor, but they're confronted by more guards. In the main corridor, the team suffers losses and depletes ammo. Gi-hun and Jung-bae call for help In-ho, and 2 men come to their aid, while Dae-ho searches for ammo. Braving the crossfire, Gi-hun secures bullets with a minor injury. In-ho finds an alternate route to the office but requires distraction from the duo. Gi-hun complies, hoping Dae-ho arrives with more ammo. Dae-ho collects ammo but panics, abandoning the radio to stay with the others. Suspicious, Hyunju investigates. Alone with the 2 men, In-ho kills them, feigning his death over the radio, and orders his men to conclude the operation. In the main room, Hyunju prepares to fight, but Gi-hun persuades her to stay hidden. One team member commits suicide, and the others surrender only to be executed. Ji-hun and Jung-bae also surrender. In-ho, masked as the front man, executes Jung-bae, leaving Ji-hun in distress. Eventually, the remaining players find themselves participating in a macabre game of red light, green light with two dolls.